Some people out there, when they talk, they fake the funk. You want brutally honest? Well, if you want brutally honest, look no further than CG Ruthless Sports.
CG Ruthless.
CG Ruthless Sports.
CG Ruthless.
If you want your sports talk to be brutally honest, come check out CG.
CG Ruthless.
If you're not watching CG Ruthless, I don't know what to tell you. Representing the Niner Empire.
CG Ruthless.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Ramilia Sports Report, man. What's good, bro?
Hey, CG. Hey, nice. Thank you for having me in here. Sorry, I was a little bit late today.
That's all good, man. Where can they find you on social media platform?
I'm on Instagram, Ramilia Sports, Twitter, Ramilia Sports, YouTube. I'm mostly on YouTube. I'm going to start posting more on the other social media. So that's where you can find me, Ramilia Sports.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But it's kind of been like an interesting days how we ended up meeting up on Facebook a while back, man. We were like at that NFC West or some other trash talk group, but hey, we all become YouTubers at this point.
That's funny that you say that because we get into our smack talk and it's fun to do that and it's all fun and games. But that's how I met my other Niner brother, Tommy Huxley. We used to go at it back and forth. And then one day I said, you know what, Tommy, no more of that stuff, man. Let's just talk football. And he said, you're up. And then we started having a friendship from there. And he's a pretty good dude, and he's also my USC brother too. We both like USC football, and so it's amazing how you meet people, and it works out that way.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Hey, we can just agree about being Lakers brothers. That's about it. Hey, what happened? I guess something happened on his reception. He'll be back. I guess he had some difficulties or something. Don't sweat it, guys. He'll be back. Something happened on his reception or some computer issues. I don't know. Something to do with his computer. He's having some issues with his computer or something like that. It's crazy, but I'll wait for him. He'll get back in. Man, that's crazy, man. He's been having some problems. That's probably why he was late, and now he's just having issues with his computer or something like that. He'll get back in anytime, unless he kind of gives me a heads up and say something's not working. Then we can probably reschedule it. But on the meantime, why is Rudy far away? I don't know. Rudy, can you get any further away? He just got further away, but he'll be back like the Terminator. He's back. I guess it's all good. No worries, man. What happened?
My bad. I was checking something real quick and I popped out by accident. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
All right. No more checking nothing. Let's stay here.
For real. I mean, we kind of go way back, but I guess Tommy is like coming right at you.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, like all of us, we love our teams, and you guys have us 5 times in a row, man. It's even hard for me to say that. Yeah, Tommy, you know what? I have it that way. He says, "Can I get any further away?" I have it that way so I can see that you can see the Rams house, part on there. And
yeah,
I need to get a different camera too, so that way I can have it all together. But the 49ers, this is 49ers week. It's exciting. Here we are again, the 49ers and Rams in a meaningful game. The Niners are trying to get a playoff spot, and the Rams want to stay the number 2 seed, possibly slip into the number 1 seed and win the division. And so, man, all the cards are on the table, so you guys have your young buck, Trey Lance. So, thank you for having me in here again, man. I appreciate it. It's a fun time to be Ram and 49er fans.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, I had to definitely include you. Like, I've been having some opportunities to get you on, but you've been having a busy schedule, so it's understandable. But yeah, this is going to be a good week because when I look at the matchup, yeah, we've had your number for the last couple of years, and this game means a lot for you guys because if you guys beat us, you automatically win your division and move up to the number 2 seed, if not further. But I mean, you can look at it that way. But the Niners, it's pretty much we have to win, and if it doesn't happen that way, the Saints have to lose. So that's kind of like odds against us. But you guys have everything in your favor. You guys can either win your division and get the number 2 seed or get the number 5 seed at the worst. That's not that bad.
Yeah, and we hated to get rid of Jared Goff. I appreciate what he did for us. He was at his ceiling. He wasn't able to take the next level, in quarterbacking to the Josh Allens and stuff like that. And we couldn't, like you guys are familiar with Jimmy G. You guys can't do certain things because of Jimmy G in the playbook. So same thing with Goff. He was just making the same mistakes over and over again, as you can attest to us losing to you guys with Mullins at quarterback, and we'd lose ugly games, 23-16, and so it wasn't just because we lost to you guys. It's because when we get to the Aaron Rodgers or we have a mishap or Stafford can come through for us, and we are where we are. We're 12-4. It's amazing because we lost Cam Akers at the beginning of the year. Poor Stafford. All this hype. Stafford. Now he has a running game. Now he has a decent head coach. He has all these weapons. And then right off the bat, before preseason starts, Cam Akers goes down. You're like, oh shit. So then, luckily, excuse my language. So luckily, we have, in my opinion, one of the better executives. He really deserves Executive of the Year consideration and Les Snead, because when Cam Akers went down, we knew that Darrell Henderson's injury prone. He's hurt as we speak now. It's going to take him about 3 weeks to get back. So we ended up getting Sony Michel from the Patriots for a bag of peanuts. And we're strapped at the cap, but he finds players. And now we have Cam Akers, and that's what I'm excited about too. We can go into that in a little bit, but Cam Akers is back, and and so it's going to be the first time that they played together. So I'm hoping that they light a fire Sunday at SoFi Stadium, because this is the first time Stafford and Cam Akers have been on the field together. And considering that we're 12-4 without Robert Woods and Cam Akers, that's amazing.
Yeah, because you guys got all that talent, but man, it's kind of insane that you speak of it. Like, the Rams, they always find ways to capitalize on getting players. I don't know how you guys are able to afford them. Like, it's like you go from Marcus Peters to Jalen Ramsey just like that. I'm like, how the hell you do that? Yeah. And then you go from so many damn players. I'm like, how do you guys do it?
Yeah, Les Snead and the guys. They learned their lesson. They gave Goff and Gurley a big contract, and they screwed up right there. They screwed up. But one thing too, though, they try to reward the players that came through for you. I mean, if you look at Goff in his third year, they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, you'd be like, oh shit, we have our start again. Sorry, my language. We have our starting quarterback, our franchise quarterback, and we're in the Super Bowl. We had Todd Gurley at that time. Midway through the season, he was the best running back in the league, explosive. Unfortunately, at the end of the year, he was not a shadow of himself. But we tried to reward our guys, and Goff just didn't take the next level. Gurley was hurt, and we couldn't use him anymore. But we gave him those contracts. So Les Snead has learned his lesson on that, and he's found ways to get guys, and also to the culture with Sean McVay. Guys like Ramsey and Donald and the other guys have. And the Niners do that too. They restructure their contracts to bring guys in, and so we find money from somewhere. So, that's why people say, oh, they're all in, in the media too. The Rams are all in. If they don't win it this year, it's a bust. Well, there's only one team at the end of the year that wins a Super Bowl. At least we're trying to do our part to try to win it. If we don't, then guess what? We'll be all in next year. Because like you said, in 2018, when we got Marcus Peters and Adamakin Sue and Aqib Talib, they're saying the same thing, that they're all in their future. They keep getting rid of their future. Well, here we are, 2022. And the Rams are doing the same thing, and they're Super Bowl contenders still. So we're very fortunate, and very lucky that our late round draft picks have turned out.
Yeah, that's been the case, but I guess Tommy's putting in a question for you about your offensive line. I kind of did say that it was a little bit suspect, but I guess David Lombardi sees it differently. Like, I don't know, this guy's credibility, he's not even the same level as Brad Cohen. I don't even know what this guy's coming. He's trying to pretend to be some insider.
Yeah. Well, with the Rams offensive line, there's a little backstory with that. As a Ram fan, I try not to be a homer, but you can't, you get excited about your team, but I try to keep it realistic. So, the offensive line, because we had injuries in 2019, when the only year that we didn't make the playoffs, we were one game away. The Niners beat us, and so did the Seahawks, and they hurt us from going to 10-6 and making the playoffs. But we had injuries in that year, and we had like 3 starters out at once, and so guys got a lot of playing time. Guys got a lot of experience, and it's helped up to now. So we're able to fill in guys. A lot of them, like the Brian Allens and stuff like that. Whitworth keeps on trucking. It's amazing, his story, long in the tooth, and he's still one of the better left tackles. We're good at I would say this: we're a balanced offensive. We're not great at anything. We're a good passing blocking offensive line, and at times there's cracks in there because we have a lot of young guys in the middle, and then Whitworth is older, so. There's some pass rushers that give us problems, but we're also decent at run blocking. So we have a decent line. I would say that we're above average on our line, and against certain teams, and if our guys are doing what they're supposed to, we can be real effective. So we're not one of the greatest offensive lines, but we're not. We're better than the better than the middle end offensive lines.
And you guys give up the least penalties from what a Rams fan told me. Is that true, or is it?
That's the thing that's great. We don't have a lot of, and that's coaching, and also guys that we sign guys that we try that aren't knuckleheads. They're footballers, so they're savvy. We don't have a lot of guys, going off sides, in crucial situations or holding penalties. You'll still get that, but we don't have a lot of that. So, and Stafford has been one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league, as well as Jared Goff when he was there. So our offensive line's pretty decent. It doesn't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah, I guess it's the same way with our offensive line too. Like, it's kind of like not the greatest, but it does okay, run blocking's pretty much our best strength, but I don't know. Our offensive line could be a little suspect, but not as bad. It's just the penalties is what kills it the most. Like, you guys have the least penalties. We have the most penalties at times. We make some boneheaded situations. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. In the secondary, I see you guys get a lot of penalties in the last couple games. That's just young guys learning.
Yeah, especially our cornerback that we got from Michigan, Ivory Thomas. He's kind of gotten better with experience. I looked at the pass defense, and the stats are kind of surprising by me. But when I looked at the pass defense of the Niners, it says number 1. I'm not even kidding, and it's up there. If you take away the penalties and all that stuff, you can tell a difference. But there's going to be some games where it's a bend don't break. But I don't know how we're ranked number 1. Doesn't make sense.
You guys have a good pass rush, and that helps the secondary, so that's part of it. But yeah, you guys, especially you guys are like if Trey Lance works out for you, you guys are going to be dangerous for the next few years because you guys are only missing a quarterback. And that's why we got rid of Jared Goff, because we were already winning. We're already making the playoffs all the time with McVay. We wanted to get a guy that can actually come through in the fourth quarter and go head to head with the guy. And so that's why we got Stafford. So you guys, and look at the Seahawks, not to get off the Rams and Niners, but the Seahawks are looking in the face of maybe rebuilding. So maybe we'll get in on the fire sale over there. So I'd like to see. Can you imagine Metcalf with Stafford?
That would be kind of interesting.
With that's the thing. I was being a Ram fan. It's almost like Christmas every year because we're like, okay, who else are we going to get? It's kind of like our Lakers. We're like, oh, they're going to figure something out. They're going to get somebody. Same thing with us. Les Snead. He's wonderful, man. You'd be like, how the hell do they pull that off? Half the time, other teams are saying, they don't have any money. How do they do it? So as a Ram fan, it's been wonderful because this guy doesn't mess around. He's trying to get us over the top, whether it works or not. I'd rather have him do that than sit back and not do anything like the Seahawks management. Poor Russell Wilson's running for his life half the time.
I mean, sometimes I feel like that's what it is with the front office. They don't even come up aggressive. Like what I see out of the Rams is they've been very aggressive. They always look for ways to be competitive, whether it's capitalizing on getting some players. Like, I guess from Rams Showcase, who needs first round picks? They're for suckers, I guess.
Well, and that's the thing too. And see, that's the media and other fans. So the Rams have been winning 5 straight years. The Rams have had a winning season. So guess what? When you make the playoffs, you have shitty draft. Sorry, my language. You get crappy draft picks, right? So you're almost second round anyway. So it's almost, when we give away 2 first rounds, it's almost like early second rounds, which are still valuable, but it's not like we're picking in the 13th or down pick, or normally in a draft there's maybe 10 guys that are difference makers, and you're lucky if you get a diamond in the rough. So when we say that we're giving away draft picks and we don't care about that, it's not that. It's that we're willing to get guys in the second round. Look at Cooper Kupp and Cam Akers. Those guys are 2nd and 3rd round picks. Ebucom, you guys got. I think he was a 3rd round pick, or 2nd round pick.
I think 4th round pick. I looked them up and it said.
Yeah. See, so our scouting department has been amazing, and so that's why we can do that, because our late picks have come through for us, and they're the Sebastian Joseph days, guys like that, Darius Williams. So as long as we keep getting diamonds in the rough and the 2nd and 3rd rounds, 4th rounds, we can do that. So but it's not a exact science.
Yeah, it's not exact science, but the way we've been doing our stuff is we've been building off the cheaper deals. Like, we've been getting some guys off, like making the most out of them. Like, we've tried to pay guys like D Ford to rush the passer. It hasn't panned out, but we've been able to invest other cheaper guys like Arden Key, a Raider castoff, hasn't panned out over there, but he's been playing solid, really good. And then you got a guy like Samson Ebicom, who you guys just let go in free agency, and he's got an opportunity to rush the passer. And then you got some other guys who's been in the rotation, like Jordan Willis is coming into his own a little bit, but we all know Nick Bosa is just another guy, just really unbelievable. But Aaron Donald, he's just one of your guys' best players, if not the best defensive lineman in football. Like, it's hard to block him.
And the Aaron Donald situation, one of the reasons why we're all in right now, besides wanting to win, is we want to get him a ring before he retires. We would love nothing better to get the ring in Los Angeles at home, and send away a big Whitworth, our left tackle, and to get Donald a ring. We're all in to try to get those guys a ring. But yeah, he's like the Michael Jordan of defensive tackles. I've spoken that on my channel, and it's ridiculous. We all cry about the refs. That was a holding. Bosa gets a lot of that too. They hold and they'll call it. But this guy is a 3-time defensive player of the year, arguably the best defensive player in football for a few years, and he doesn't get no calls, especially when we play the big teams like Aaron Rodgers. When we lost that game against them, there was a couple of big plays and scoring plays that would have been wonderful if they would have called holding, because you see it in the replay. How the hell do you miss that? That would have helped us out. They would take away that score off the board, and now they're pushed back further. And he doesn't get a lot of calls, regardless that it's kind of like the Shaq mentality. They used to beat up Shaq, as much punishment that he'd give, and they wouldn't give him any calls. Same thing with Donald. As great as he's been, he doesn't get very many calls. He gets some here and there, but it's kind of ridiculous how they're able to, one guy blocks him and he's always double teamed or triple teamed, and another guy's holding his shoulders back, and the other guy's blocking him, and there's no call. So he's an amazing player. I'm so glad that we have this guy. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and And you guys have a budding star guy like that in Bosa. As long as his knee's healthy, he's a monster.
Yeah, he's definitely a monster out there. Like he's kind of like the guy we've been wanting for years, and we just were hoping the same when we had Alden a while back, and Alden hasn't panned out like how he's supposed to be. So that's what we got. Later on, Bosa became the pitcher. We got him like years later, and now he's becoming exactly the player we want. I mean, we've had guys like DeForest Buckner. We should have kept him. That was our mistake, but it was the money factor, and I think he wanted to get paid as much as Donald, which I don't think so, man. But Armstead is whatever. He's not going to just do as much. He benefits with better talent. That's what makes him so decent. Like I've told a lot of these fans before, like, hey, I don't think Armstead is any better. Like if you take away all that talent, he's below average. And a lot of people kind of taken the answer and thought I was joking about it. But I say, look at the stats. What has he done? He's taken double team, but he's not like DeForest Buckner. If you double Buckner, Buckner's going to be a factor. He's going to be able to get to the quarterback either way. So that was one thing we lack with him. Kinlaw, he's coming into his own, but he's on injury reserve. He's kind of has knee issues, and that's concerning. But DJ Jones is one of the most underrated players on our defensive line. He doesn't get talked about as much, but he's a good run stopper. He's got little flashes as a pass rusher. He's kind of that kind of guy we need to keep for next year. But as far as those other guys, I like our depth-wise, Arden Key, we didn't expect much out of this guy. We just thought, hey, maybe he'd be a solid rotation and nothing more. He's kind of proven that maybe he can be a starter for us.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have a lot of talent. We joke about you guys beating us 5 times in a row, but you guys are really loaded, on both sides of the ball. If I had to pick a weakness in your defense, is that secondary, and Jimmy Ward helps that out. You guys have tried to find replacements for Richard Sermon. Norman, he's hit or miss, but the defensive line helps cover that up. And the same thing with us. It sucks that in this cap era that we build a team to get to the Super Bowl and be a Super Bowl contenders, and we keep losing guys. We lost like the Johnny Johnsons and in the second. Imagine last year's Ram defense this year. The veteran guys that we lost. I hate that. That's the only thing that sucks is right when you're building your team and okay, now we get Stafford and this and that and we're ready to roll, and then we lose guys to free agency. That's just the way it goes. But it sucks because we're putting in the work, whereas you have the other teams that they every year they suck. They don't even try to win. So we should because we're putting in the work. Also, too, the NFL Players Association, they should make it where the key positions, left tackle, especially quarterback, maybe a number 1 receiver, those are aside from the cap. And then your other players, you're able to re-sign guys. You're not going to give them an extravagant amount of money, but those 3 positions maybe are guys, maybe a defensive tackle like an Aaron Donald, and those should be aside from your regular cap positions, because we know that they make a lot more, especially the quarterback. Once you have to pay your quarterback, now you have to start losing guys. But they're not going to do that. They're about making money, but it would be amazing. So that way you can have some dynasties again. When we went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots and lost, every year to now we start losing guys. They're in their 3rd or 4th year and you can't afford them anymore. You guys got Samson Ebicom, and he's been a great player for us, but we weren't going to pay him that. We have to pay Ramsey, and we have to pay Donald, and we have to pay, so it would be nice if they would extend the cap where you can keep some guys for a few years in a row, and not have to keep retooling, but it is what it is. That's the NFL. That's how you can come up fast, out of nowhere. But look at the Titans. The Titans are a monster. But it is what it is.
Yeah, usually players come and go because you can't even afford them. Just like DeForest Buckner, he's exactly the kind of player you can build around. But money happens and it goes on, so you have to choose a decision, whether it's the most popular or the unpopular decision. But yeah, you look at the way you just said it, quarterbacks do take a lot of your cap space. So it kind of affects a lot of how you keep your players. And I think going forward after next year, when Jimmy's gone, that kind of frees up more cap space for us to at least get some more players and build around Trey Lance. Trey Lance, it doesn't cost much than a rookie contract, so you have a chance to build a winning team while you can.
That's you guys with the Jimmy situation, that's so amazing to me. I mean, the guy plays good against us. I mean, if you guys played us all the year, he'd make the Pro Bowl. But he all of a sudden, well, of course, our defense doesn't do. Our defensive coordinator has been okay this year, but when we play you guys, how are you supposed to defend Jimmy Garoppolo? You don't let him throw in the middle of the numbers because he doesn't have that great strong arm. You got to get Kittle off of the line, and you got to hand check him or change it up so he can't just run willy-nilly off the line and turn around and catch a 3rd-and-8 important first down. You got to double Debo and get physical with him. You got to chip him. You got to get him pissed off because he's very emotional. If I was a defense coordinator, I would have Ramsey talk to him all game. I'll talk to him all game.
Yeah, get under their skin a little bit mentally.
That's what I would
but
do.
What about? Yeah, but Debo can laugh at him.
No. Debo's a good player, but that's what I would do. You're there to defend him. When I look at the games, I'm like, why are we letting him just get off of? It'll be 3rd and 8. Okay, let's put Jalen Ramsey on Kittle, and let's double team Debo, and let's make Ayuk beat us. And I'm fine with Darius Williams guarding Ayuk. That would have caught that. If we would do that kind of mentality, we would have won a couple of those games. It wouldn't have been like it was when we lost to Woods and you guys creamed us the last game. But that's the mentality that I'm talking about. I don't see Ramsey on Kittle much at all, and he was Jimmy G's security blanket. And I'm not even a coach, and I know that. Hey, 3rd down, Ramsey, get on Kittle.
Yeah, that will be a different game plan now because you're not going to play Jimmy G. You're just going to play Trey Lance, and it's going to be a different kind of It's a different situation. But if you've noticed who his security blanket is, it's obvious that it's Ayuk and Debo now. So it's like those two receivers are clicking. So those are part of the one guys. So if you want to take away Kittle and Debo, go figure out a way to stop Ayuk. Then that would be the best key.
Yeah, and and I love Ayuk. Ayuk and Debo are great receivers. They've had injury problems, but Jimmy G is not a guy that can get the ball down the field. So Shanahan finally figured out to use Debo as a multi-threat. Giving him running the ball and do end arounds and get him the ball and short passes. Let him. He's a great yak player. He gets yards after the catch. Not so much a route runner like a Cooper Kupp, but he's a different type of receiver. But this Trey Lance, his only problem is that he's young and he's a little inconsistent on his throwing, but he's got a powerful arm, and he adds another dimension with his mobility and his deep passes. So hopefully we'll be able to corral him like we do Kyler Murray and Wilson, and confuse him and take advantage of that. But nothing's going to happen unless we run the ball, and that's where it comes to Sony Michel and Cam Akers, because we have Cam Akers back for this game. It'll be a light load because he's coming back from amazing recovery from his Achilles tear. So if we don't run the ball, that we're going to have the same thing we had when we lost Robert Woods and you guys whipped our ass the last game. Is you guys are, we have to put pressure on you guys offensively. We have to show why we have a Von Miller and a Leonard Floyd and a Aaron Donald. We have to put the fear of God in this kid. I guarantee you the night before the game, he's going to be thinking about that. He's going to be excited, but you guys don't play Aaron Donald all the time. And, so Jelly and Ramsey it needs to be ready. Hey, be ready for one. So we have to get after him, and so I'm excited about this game. I like the kid Trey Lance. He's got his head. He seems like he has a good head on his shoulders, and but he does have some good tools.
So, what do you thought of him when we drafted him? What was the idea when you saw like, hey, he can be the guy in the future that we might put up with?
Well, like I said, I'm a USC fan, so since USC has sucked the last few years, I really don't watch anybody else. It's hard for me to watch USC football lately, but I was looking at the quarterbacks coming out, and to me, the idea that Shanahan, to me, it's almost like Trey Lance fell in his lap, because the guy trades he uses his first round pick and two first round picks to go up to third. Like normally you do that for the number one pick, so you know who you're going to get. You're getting your guy. You're not going to get the guy that the leftover guy that the other two guys didn't pick. It's amazing that he got away with that, but we'll still see if he got away with that because Mac Jones looked good early. He's not a mobile quarterback, but he's got more playing time, so you can't tell right now. It's going to be year 2, year 3, year 4 when everything's all said and done. But it's amazing that Kyle Shanahan traded all those picks and didn't even have his choice of quarterbacks. Because what if they would have picked Trey Lance? Not the first pick because that was already given, but number 2, Sulla. What if Sulla picked Trey Lance, and then all of them are going to be good? But why trade your picks? Then you're picking third, and you're just waiting for the guy to fall in your lap. I don't understand that part, but he does look good. I like the kid. Who knows? We thought Jared Goff was going to be the shit, and I props for what he did. I appreciate it, but he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the franchise guy we thought he was.
Yeah, like the thing that was surprising about that trade was that was the most talk about draft season by far. Everybody wanted to know who the Niners were going to get as the number 3 pick. They were wondering, is it like Mac Jones? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Trey Lance? They were just having guesses. They were coming up with some ways to figure out who's the guy, and they kept making up some other reports about Mac Jones and so on. And they talk about how Shanahan's talking with Justin Fields and all this smokescreen stuff. Man, this was probably one of the best ones by far in the Aussie. The media was so pissed off and ignorant, man.
That was good. Yeah, you can't go with what Shanahan says because he plays good poker when it comes to that. But you know what? I was surprised. I've said this before, and now with the season with him, almost a whole season with Matthew Stafford. Trey Lance, I can live with a young quarterback. Who knows if he's going to turn out? He looks really good. But that means that you guys are a couple years away. By the time he's ready, meaning you guys are still going to be dangerous, but year 2, year 3, Bosa's going to be more miles on him. You guys are going to lose more players in the draft. Debo might be a little slower, or he might lose him. I don't know when his contract is up. By the time he's ready, you guys might have to retool. That's the only drawback about having a young quarterback, because you guys will still be dangerous, and you can still make free agent moves, but that's not what John Lynch does, really. He doesn't do like a Les Snead. So we'll see with that. But I was thinking that you guys, I was going to have nightmares if you guys would have got Matthew Stafford. If you guys would have got Matthew Stafford and stayed pat and then picked like a Mac Jones to back him up, so when Stafford's done, you have him. Can you imagine that scenario?
You were talking about that. You were talking about how it would go. You said either way, if the Niners would have got Stafford, I would have had tough time sleeping.
I would have sleepless nights, man, because even though you guys beat us with almost anybody at quarterback, unfortunately, I'm talking about the other games. You guys are sitting here at what are you, 9-7, 9-7 right now?
Yeah, 9-7.
In my opinion, you guys could have that same record with Trey Lance starting starting some of the games with mixed in with Jimmy Garoppolo, or even starting. You guys would have a similar record, but to win the whole enchilada with those stable running backs you guys have, and Kittle is a key guy. We have Higbee, so he's kind of like a poor man's Kittle, especially against the Niners. I think he takes the challenge. He's had some really good games against you guys, Higbee. And so can you imagine Matthew Stafford? He'd rewrite all those Young and Joe Montana records. Look at what he's doing with Cooper Kupp. So I would have sleepless nights. Imagine you guys had Matthew Stafford, and you guys drafted Mac Jones, and he's backing him up. He's learning from Matthew Stafford. That would be a nightmare scenario for me. So, but the Jimmy G situation, I'm surprised he's still there, CG, to tell you the truth. I mean, you guys had a chance to trade him. You guys could have got a veteran quarterback to back up the kid and slowly feed him the ball, but get some capital for Jimmy G and get rid of his money. I'm surprised he's still there. I don't understand that. He does good against us, but he doesn't stay on the field. I don't understand why they keep, they basically wasted Trey Lance's first year. So let's say you guys don't make the playoffs. He got a couple of games. That means next year's really his rookie year. You basically wasted his rookie year. So I don't
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah, that's wasting his development too. But then now his rookie year, he's already got like he'll get 2.5 or was it 3.5 games under his belt, so
Yeah.
he's going to be able to get some experience. So then it will still be his rookie year after his second year, so he's still going to have to adjust to the next level. And I'm pretty sure when it comes down to it, like he's going to have some better offseason training. He's going to have somebody help him on his mechanics better, on his touch ups, so he doesn't throw those fastballs and hurt the receiver's hands, you know?
Yeah. If I was the Niners, I would bring in Steve Young as a consultant in the offseason and have him work with them. Teams have like quarterback coaches and stuff like that, and like Stafford, hey man, keep your feet good, keep your feet clean. He's been a gunslinger the last few games and throwing picks. He wasn't like that in the beginning of the year. Hey, you're not Detroit no more. You don't need to do that. You don't need to have to make a play on every down. Just you live to play another down. So, but yeah, I if I was the Niners, I would bring in like a Steve Young who knows about where to throw the ball when he's mobile, what to think of, what to do. He knows about sitting behind a quarterback. If I was him, that's what I would do. But yeah, the kid looks good. I'm excited because he has another dimension. Even though with his inexperience, he's able to get plays with his legs. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's really an exciting time for both of our teams.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting part is his upside. Like, he can move in the pocket a lot better, but the arm talent's off the chain. Like, there's just some throws. Like, how the hell did he do it?
Yeah.
It's like that. I don't even think Jimmy can do that. Like, I'm just looking at the way Jimmy throws the ball, and I'm like thinking, he can't even do that.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you watch Trey Lance, you're just having that idea like, hey, this is kind of like what Patrick Mahomes and quite a few of these quarterbacks can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it catches me on a little bit like, hey, Russell does that too. Aaron does it. Josh Allen kind of does it every now and then,
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quarterbacks is Josh Allen too, and besides Mahomes, but that's not a Ram.
Fireball, Fireball, California, man. He's not far off from the area.
Yeah, I love that guy. But yeah, Trey Lance, he's got a strong arm. He just has to corral it, but he's a young guy. He hasn't played that much in college, so that's what I was saying about Shannon, that he kind of lucked out with Trey Lance falling in his lap, because to give those draft picks and only go to third and be like, okay, whoever you guys get, I get whoever's left. Then I guess that's a pretty good guy to fall in his lap. So but yeah, he does look good. That the mobility will definitely help his experience and his cover up some of the things that he's lacking as a young quarterback.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is with these young quarterbacks. But Trey Lance, man, I just like the ceiling, and I think just let the guy start. Jimmy, come on, it's already at a point where we're fed up with this guy. He's already injured. He's gonna I appreciate his time, but if you're not available, then we gotta move on, dude. We can't just depend.
That's the thing. Like, say we had Jared Goff and before we got Stafford, and he was always out. We'd be like, what the hell? Get rid of the guy. That's I don't understand. I mean, people like who they like, but if a guy's not there, let's say we sign LeBron James and he's always hurt, like he has been in the last few years. We're like, what the hell do we get this guy for? Even though he's an upside, we win with him. He's never there, so, and that's why you guys haven't made the playoffs, because you guys haven't had a steady quarterback that's on the field all the time. That's the main thing besides the other injuries. So I don't understand why people want him to still stay around. I don't understand that, but other than that, you guys have your guy now, and then Kyle likes to mess with you guys, and he doesn't even want to say that. Oh, he keeps, and he's doing it for gamesmanship too. He doesn't want to tell you guys that Trey's going to start. He's like, oh, Jimmy's thumb looks good or whatever,
I think he's trolling the media.
Yeah. But it's funny though, because he just, the kid, maybe behind the scenes, who knows, that he's telling the kid, hey man, we got to say this in the public, but you're the guy, you're the future. You just know that, we want you to be ready. So we'll see what happens. But the kid, I was seeing on the sidelines, Shanahan yelled at him for some mistake that he made, and he kind of like went, what do you mean? He was good natured about it. So that little thing I saw, that little clip, shows that he's willing to learn, and he's not a diva. And so, the kid looks pretty good. So you guys have a right to be very optimistic with him.
Yeah, we definitely do. And it's going to be hard during the offseason to retain guys like Debo Samuel, but I think we'll figure out something. We already paid Fred Warner his contract. I think we'll make some room for Debo. I don't know what kind of money he's asking for, but I'm pretty sure with this cap space coming into the new league year, they're going to be pretty big. So, I like to give a huge shout out to Corey Davis. The reason we moved to number 3 to get Trey Lance, because after Atlanta was going to get him at number 4, I don't think they were. I don't know if they were. I think, could they? Probably, because Matt Ryan's old, maybe.
I was afraid that you guys were going to get Pitts, the tight end, too.
I thought it would have been a scary duel for that, just to have Jimmy with tight ends. Oh, dude, that would have been scary, but nah.
You guys have Pitts and Kittle, but then also too, because Kittle gets injured, you can trade him for some draft picks and get somebody else. There's a couple of scenarios that I saw that you guys could have did, but we'll like I said, we'll see what happens. We got a guy, Jacob Harris, who he ended up getting hurt. Our whole draft class got hurt. Jake Don't Fake the Funk running back, Jacob Harris tight end, who runs a 4.3 40. He's a big monster, 6'5", 220, runs a 4.3 40 tight end. Jake Don't Fake the Funk running back got hurt, but he actually came back this year. Tutu Atwell, he looked like he didn't want to play. I'm like, come on, dude, really? I mean, so even though he didn't get his chance, we have him for next year, but they all got hurt, so that's another thing when it comes to drafting guys. Hopefully they stay healthy or they turn out. But there was a few scenarios I was afraid that you guys were going to do. So the Trey Lance one, it may turn out or may not, but I could live with that one. I was afraid that you guys were going to get Stafford and then pick up Mac Jones or somebody like that to back him up when he's done. Then you have double whammy, or you guys make a move and also get Pitts or get Pitt, So for right now, we'll see what happens with Trey Lance.
Or good. Yeah. Or worse, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
That could have been the worst case scenario. Giving Jimmy another weapon would have been more element to this offense. You have Debo, Ayuk, and all bunch of these receivers, bro. Just imagine if you had Jamar Chase in that offense.
And I don't know, there's been a lot of things said about you guys' athletic trainer. He doesn't have a lot of experience. He's not the greatest. But
all the hockey guys.
Yeah, all these injuries that you guys keep having. If it was me and I'm running the team, I would say, hey, Jimmy, you know what, man? Be your trainer. We're gonna go into your diet. Whatever Tom Brady's taking, that's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna have these little fucking injuries. Excuse my language. You're not gonna have these injuries no more. There's too much invested in you, dude. So I don't know if they've had that talk with him, but that's got to be so mind numbing that he keeps getting hurt, and he's the key to your guys' offense, because you guys would have to truck into Mullins in there and before him Beathard, and then Jimmy G looked like he was the savior with the 5 wins in a row in his rookie year. And then he can't stay healthy. And then the defense basically rolled him into the Super Bowl in 2019. Look, we're talking about Stafford and his interceptions. Jimmy G got to piggyback the defense in 2019. The guy threw for 200 yards in 2 games, and you guys made the Super Bowl. That was a hell of a defense, but and now he can't stay healthy. So, I like the guy Jimmy G. He's very limited on his arm strength, and at times can get rattled and starts missing guys. But so Trey Lance is a good move. I'm just surprised you haven't made the move faster.
Yeah, that's the surprising part. But then when you're talking about your rookie class, I'm like thinking exactly the same way with these rookies. They haven't got a lot of opportunities, but you look at guys like Elijah Mitchell, he's becoming the starter, and he's becoming a lot better than what we expected out of Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's kind of like a work in progress. And then Aaron Banks, we've invested high in the second round, hasn't really done nothing. He's still on the bench and is a work in progress. Jalen Moore is a lot better than expected. Avery Thomas is making strides as the cornerback that we expect him to be, because he's got a little rust because he opted out of COVID that year. Yeah. And usually it takes time for him, but I think he's gotten better. And then Diamadou Lenore, I think he's going to be the guy that replace Quan Williams when he leaves free agency. So I think that's the best option we got there. And then you look at the other guys, like we got quite a few decent, like the draft class wasn't that bad. It's pretty decent, I ain't gonna lie. It's not
And
that bad.
I was surprised you guys got Trey Sermons because you guys have a stable of running backs already. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a embarrassment of riches that you guys have so many good. I mean, even with he's not even playing, and you guys have this the Mitchell guy running the ball. Wilson got hurt, but I'm surprised that you guys even got Trey Sermons. I'm surprised you guys didn't invest in the secondary with that.
Yeah, we had to wait till the third round to get one. So then we got a safety out of USC who's probably going to be the guy to replace Tart next year.
Yeah, that's Tufunga.
Hufunga, yeah, that dude's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast. I was hoping that we could get him, but we have just so many. We have a lot of holes that we had to fill. We didn't have that luxury, but I really liked him. He's ball. He doesn't. It's one of those guys that you can put him in the speed test and all these attributes, athletic attributes, and he doesn't go high on the bar. When it comes to that, you write him down and say, oh, he's, it doesn't look like he's that fast, but he's just got ball awareness and he's always around the ball. He makes plays. He's just a guy that's a football player, and he's a beast when it comes to hitting. So, and that's what you need sometimes. Sometimes it's not all on the stats of what the guy can do. Look at Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp doesn't run a 4.3. Just like Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was never the fastest guy, but in pads and when he had to make a play, he was burning guys and leaving guys. So sometimes it's just your will and you just have something about you. So I like Tufunga, man. I wish we would have got him.
Yeah, Hufunga is kind of like the in the box. He's kind of okay in coverage, but yeah, like looking at the way we've been able to evaluate talent under DeMeco Ryans, he could be an upcoming head coach at some point, but I feel like he's kind of making certain adjustments at times, but I like the way he's kind of convert certain players to linebacker. Like Marcel Harris, he just wasn't as good of a safety. Like he was a safety that we drafted from Florida come out of college, and he was an okay safety, didn't quite do good in coverage as expected. But as soon as we moved this guy to linebacker, he's kind of done solid in coverage so far, and he's been making plays when it matters. So it's like I like the fact that he was able to have some trust with this kid and say, you know what, he's better at linebacker than he is at safety. And then guys like Flanagan Foles, he was a safety coming out of Arizona. They switch him up to linebacker. I like how DeMeco's developing these linebackers and getting something good out of these guys like Al-Shaair, a guy who was undrafted, becoming into his own. Dre Greenlaw, that guy's a beast.
Al-Shaair and Warner are two of the better linebackers in the NFL. You guys really came up with that guy. He's amazing. That's another guy. Your defensive coordinator surprised me because when you guys lost Robert Saleh, I was looking to take advantage of that because he had Goff's number but this guy surprised me. He's done a really good job with you guys, especially with all the injuries, having to rotate guys everywhere.
Yeah, he's going to get better with experience. I felt like, it's going to take time for this guy, but I felt like he is doing a lot better than expected. Sometimes his coverage or stuff can be unpredictable, but I like how he mixes up the plays a little bit to where he gets the defense off guard a little, or get the defense to do some plays and be able to create pressure. A little blitz here and there would work. Saleh was always conservative. He wouldn't do it as much, but I like how the approach of what DeMeco does. He'll mix up the coverage, but he'll definitely get some blitzes here and there,
Yeah. Raheem Morris, our defensive coordinator, has been a disappointment. He's a decent, don't get me wrong, he's a good coach and defensive coordinator, but there's a lot of things that I don't agree that he does with us. But then again, there's a young secondary that we lost guys on, but I wish that he was more like your defensive coordinators. A lot of times we keep rotating Ramsey against different guys, and especially against the Packers, it drives me nuts because they instead of putting Ramsey on the main guy and double teaming the other guy, they have him rotating different guys, and sure enough, the other guy, the main guy beats one of our inexperienced cornerbacks and for big plays. There's things like that, or when we're not aggressive enough and we don't mix in blitzes, even though we have that great defensive line, we need to mix in some blitzes with Jalen Ramsey or somebody at times. We don't do enough of that, in my opinion. And so, that's been a disappointment with our defensive coordinator. He's a good coach, but if he was to leave next year, I wouldn't, unless we win the Super Bowl, that would be great. But he's been a disappointment in my mind. But we did win a game without Jalen Ramsey because of COVID. those young guys stepped up. So against the against the Seahawks, I think it was. So but yeah, I like your defensive coordinator too. He was better than I thought.
Yeah, I know the expectation was our defense was going to fall off a little bit because of the change of the defense coordinator, but it was a simple transition. You go from somebody you're familiar with and works with you. It was kind of like there was candidates that we could have made in the offseason going for a guy like Gus Bradley or Dan Quinn, who worked with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta before. Those could have been the simplest candidates, but we decided to go within our organization and promote somebody, and that was a no-brainer. So it kind of seemed like, you know what, there was talks that maybe we could have promoted our defensive line coach to that position, but I don't think so, man. I think D'Amico just has a different knowledge for the game. Because I mean, he comes from Alabama. He was a defensive leader for the Texans. He was rookie of the year. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler. Like, this guy was a beast. Like, he could definitely, he knows defense pretty well, and he's been able to help the likes of Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, who at one point was a really good player before the injuries, and then Al-Shaair, and then giving opportunities to guys like Marcel Harris, having him switch from safety to linebacker, and he sees some talent in this kid. And guys like Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles switching from safety to linebacker. I don't know what it is with D'Amico Ryans, but he knows what he's getting out of these guys. So he knows what he's taking. So what I like about him is he's able to develop them.
Yeah, he's done a great job with you guys. But it helps when you have a good pass rush and good linebackers, and to help cover up for the secondary when Ward's not there. But he's done a hell of a job. Like I said, I'm not happy with our defensive coordinator. He's okay, and he's but in his defense, we lost a lot of guys in the secondary, and we don't really play our starters in the preseason, so he kind of had a catch-22. But yeah, I really like what your defensive coordinator has done. But yeah, so.
Yeah, it definitely does. It does. I mean, the Rams kind of had to go through a new change because the guy you had before went to the Chargers, and I thought hiring Raheem Morris was a solid pickup, but I guess for you guys, it took you some time to gel a little bit. So I know a lot of Rams fans were saying, "Get rid of this guy, please. Get rid of him." And I'm like saying, "This guy has a good track record. He was with Tampa Bay. If I remember, he was part of John Gruden's coaching staff before he became a head coach."
Well, he knows what he's doing, but I don't like what he's done with us. Hopefully it'll show up in the playoffs, CG. Like you say, he came from Tampa Bay, and I don't like what I've seen from him because we have a good defense. I mean, we have Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. Now we have Vaughn, and there's one guy that's missing is Sebastian Joseph Day. We had a okay run defense, and it hasn't shown up, but when he went out, he was coming on with him and Ashawn Robinson both in there. We stopped the run pretty good, but with the young secondary, we haven't. Darius Williams was supposed to take the next level, the next quarterback next to Jalen Ramsey, our next main cornerback. He was the guy that did the pick six in the playoffs against Wilson. Wilson tried to throw a little screen pass, and he got in there and got it. He hasn't been himself this year. He's just started to play better here and there. So if he takes off in the playoffs like he did last year, that'll be a huge thing, and that'll help our defensive coordinator. But he hasn't really, for the talent that we have, it's been very underachieving, as far at times. But yeah, he's a credible coach. But yeah, he drives me nuts though.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, a lot of the changes, like a lot of opportunities for these players. I mean, you lost Troy Hill in free agency, and that was going to be hard to replace. But then you got Williams stepping in. That was the one player that I forgot to mention. I thought it was the other guy at first, but then I realized it's that one dude, Williams. And I'm like, okay, this guy's another guy that's been kind of like not the biggest name, but decent, So if we're talking X factors, okay, what would it take for your Rams to beat the Niners? Which unknown factor player that's actually kind of been stepping up for you guys, but not getting enough recognition? Who would be the X factor on both sides of the ball?
Well, the X factor is the running game. Cam Akers is back. Sean McVay has learned his lesson. Hopefully that we need to run the ball first, and then it'll open everything up. See, when you run the ball, okay, like let's say Nick Bosa. Let's say I'm coaching the Rams and we have Cam Akers back, and even if we didn't, Sony Michel's been a better player than we thought. I mean, we got him for a bag of chips and peanuts, and he's been a hell of a player. Imagine if we didn't have him. But he's been physical, more physical than I thought he was. He's been a godsend. But I would run at Bosa. I would, especially with his knees being the way they are, not to be dirty, but to be physical. I'd run at him. I'd have Big Whitworth and our center Brian Allen come right after him. Watch the back end so Alshire and Warner can't sneak in there and get the tackle. Cooper Kupp and the receivers get in their way at least for the beginning of the game to wear them out. But that's the key of the game is being physical, running the ball, and then timely passes down the field. Let Cooper Kupp and OBJ and Van Jefferson cook and sneak in Tyler Higbee in there, chip some guys, and then turn around and catch the ball over the middle. Don't be stupid with the ball. So the X factor would be the running game. If we run like you guys do, you guys want to play ball control, keep us off the field. That's what we need to do. That's how we've been our formula for winning 5 straight games in December is running the ball. And Matthew Stafford, despite the turnovers, he's become a gunslinger. I don't know why that is, but luckily he's good enough to bring us back against the Ravens. That's why we got him to make the big plays. And same thing with OBJ. Luckily we got him, but that's the key of the game. The X factor for me is, I'm not even talking about defense yet, is the running game on our offense. Because if we can't run the ball, it's going to make us one-dimensional, and you guys have good pass rushers. We won't have time to take advantage of the secondary.
Yeah, that's what it takes, man. That's what it would take for you guys to actually beat us. Like, a good running game would wear up our defense. You got to test our secondary. You got to take those deep passes and all that stuff. In order for you guys to beat us, Stafford has to take those deep shots. Because if you want those opportunities, like Josh Norman's always been known to give away penalties. So he's always going to give you those PIs if you take those deep shots or whatever happens. But that's been our weakness, is taking those deep shots. If you guys keep testing us on that, it's going to be a problem. But the way I look at the X factor for the Niners, definitely the way we've been playing. Try to feature any other way to get Debo in the running game, I guess. Getting Debo in the running game would be the X factor. But if I had to choose an unheralded player on offense for me, I know this may not sound like the biggest name, but I feel like a lot of you guys are going to probably focus on Debo and Kittle in some other ways. But I feel like a guy like Juwan Jennings has to make some key catches. He's got to at least be in the red zone situation. Like, if he can get in the red zone and make that play, that's what we need. We need somebody to step in when we need it in the red zone. That's the one guy I would put as my X factor, because if he does his job as a blocker and makes some key catches, like maybe 2 or 3 catches is all we can ask for from him, because he's not going to get a lot of the targets. But if he can get one in the red zone, this would put us in better position to probably just get a chance to get in the playoffs. But on defense, okay, for my X factor is stopping your running game, but forcing Stafford, like we gotta be able to cover your receivers. But I know for the one formula for your Rams, they got to be able to get that chemistry with OBJ. If OBJ gets on a groove, this can be a long day. But I feel like Van Jefferson could be your X factor. He can be the one guy that steps in and makes a big catch and steps in and has a big game. And I know Cooper Kupp's going to probably get some more attention, and it's going to probably be a lot difficult than to expect from him. But I feel like on defense, if we can get to Stafford, if we can pressure him consistently, I feel like even though Bosa will probably step up at some point, but I feel like Arden Key has to be the guy to make up for Bosa. I mean, he's got to be the guy to step in and make plays. And he knows what to expect from the Rams because he's been there. So maybe those are the 2 guys I would want to expect. But if I had to flip a coin flip, I got to go with Arden Key. Arden Key has to play good. If he wants to prove himself that he wants to be here next year, it has to be against the Rams. That's the X factor. You want your contract, Arden? Step up and get Stafford right now.
Yeah, and for some reason, when we play you guys, I'm just going, forget the past years. I'm going by this year because it was such a disappointment. We were looking forward to to playing you guys, and honestly, I was thinking we might blow you guys out. only because you guys hadn't played us with Stafford. It's a whole new offense. At that time, we were rolling. We hadn't even got Robert Woods in the offense really yet. There was only one game where he got a lot of catches because it was Cooper Kupp show, and at that time we still had Deshaun Jackson. So I was waiting to unfurl all these weapons on you guys, and then two days before we play you, Woods goes down with the ACL.
That was unexpected.
OBJ was just getting off the plane. We were all like, it was Christmas time. We got OBJ and Von Miller. Everybody was still there except for Cam Akers. He was there, but we got Sony Michel. And then so we had to retool our offensive scheme a couple of days, and OBJ didn't know the terminology. He could run decent stuff, but we couldn't do hurry up offense. And then there's no excuses. When you take the field, you have to play. But we were devastated, not just for that game. And I said that on my channel. There's no excuses. When you go out there, if you're able to play, you're able to win or lose. You're able to win. But we weren't just thinking about the Niner game. It's kind of like Rocky 3, if you're a Rocky fan. And Mick dies and he goes out there and gets his ass whipped by Mr. T, right?
Yeah.
The Rams lost one of their main leaders and one of the cogs in our offense with Cooper Kupp. He blocks. They're like yin and yang. They both can be interchangeable. We lost one of the main guys, and it wasn't just for that game. We're thinking future, like, shit, we're going to be without this guy for the whole year. We're trying to go to the Super Bowl. Oh no, maybe a little poor us, mentality, because it's almost like somebody died, because you're like, wow, man, you have all these expectations, and this guy goes down 2 days before the Niner game. So I think we were kind of reeling, and we weren't ready to play that game, and it looked like it. We were stuck in cement. The Niners were flying around. They were having fun. It was at Santa Clara, and they were doing what they were supposed to do. But I think that's one of the reasons why we got our ass whipped so bad, is because we were thinking of the whole season without Robert Woods, and we're feeling a little sorry for ourselves. So I'm hoping it's going to be different this time, because now we have OBJ. He's acclimated to the offense. Van Jefferson has matured. He's made some big plays. I mean, the Van Jefferson situation, like you said, Van Jefferson has been so good that Deshaun Jackson couldn't break into our starting lineup. And that's why he was crying about not getting, because he had a lot of incentives. So that was crying about not getting playing time, because he couldn't break into our starting lineup. Van Jefferson is a young guy, but he's talented. His pop was Jefferson with the Chargers, wide receiver. So hold on. We lost Deshaun Jackson, and we got OBJ, but I think that Niner game, you guys won. There's no excuses. You guys whipped our butt. But I think some of that was because we were just devastated for the loss of Robert Woods and the 2 days that we had to rechange the offense plan. And it all fell down. We should have just ran the ball more. Looking back at it, we should just ran the ball. I don't care if you guys stop us here and there. We have to do 3 and outs. Run the ball, get the clock down, and then let Stafford cook in the fourth quarter. Because even with all the gunslinging interceptions and turnovers that he's had in the recent games, he don't have any interceptions in the fourth quarter. He's got the highest rating amongst quarterbacks in the fourth quarter, and that's why we got him. So, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. That's why I'm interested to see. I'm glad that both of these teams and the NFL were smart to flex the game to later, so that way the Niners can't say, "Hey, Roberto, thank you, brother, I appreciate it." That's why the NFL is so smart, man. They flex the games so that the 49ers won't know if the Saints win. So they don't have nothing to play for. So they flex the game later. So that way, both teams are going to be at it. So this is a great time for both of our teams to have at it. For the most part, everybody's healthy. We'll see what happens. We have guys missing on both sides, but if any, I got to say this. If there was a time that I can say it, is we are very due. We're due. I mean, in the 5 games, have we had, there's one year, 2019, where we almost had you 34-31, and Jimmy surprisingly hit those deep balls that he couldn't hit in the Super Bowl the same year to keep the drives going. 3rd and 16, a couple of back-to-back 3rd and 16s at Santa Clara, and you guys got us 34-31. and that was the best Niner Shanahan team that you guys have had, incidentally. But I'm surprised that we haven't had one game besides that we've showed up and played, and it was a hard-fought battle. We just lay an egg against you guys. It's amazing that we can do that against you guys, but then beat the Bucks and beat the Seahawks. We roll out of bed, and you guys can't beat the Seahawks regularly. But it's matchups and division rivalry. Kind of Kyle Shanahan and McVay are buddies, so that puts a little more edge to it. McVay was kidding Shanahan that, hey, we got Stafford and you guys didn't get him. They're kidding back and forth, and then Shanahan says, yeah, I was looking at his tape, and I was thinking about maybe pulling the trigger, but you beat me to it. And then Shanahan has us 5 times in a row. So it's a great time to be Ram fans and 49er fans. Our little brothers to the south, Arizona, are still not ready for prime time. They were all happy because they beat us at SoFi Stadium, and they caught us off guard, and then we went over there and smacked them in the mouth and took first place from them. But I say that fun because we all love our teams and we're talking smack. But it's amazing because you guys have had your problems with Arizona, you guys have had your problems with Seattle, but you don't have problems with us. And I
don't know why. Like you said, the Sean McVay relationship, it kind of seems like it. But then you talk about the history of these two. Like Shanahan's dad was our offensive coordinator at one point, and then McVay's grandfather was our GM under the Bill Walsh era. So it kind of gives you the feeling that it's mutual, but then Sean McVay knows it's just business as always. So when you look at the matchups, it's like, how the hell we figure out a way to beat you with lesser talent? Like at one point we beat you with a mediocre quarterback, and we beat you with different ways. So it's like Jimmy G doesn't even have to play his best football, and he can still win with a running game. So
Robert Saleh, I blame him for a couple of those losses because he would get in Goff's head, and Goff would just play like trash. I hate that he would play that like that against you. I was looking for Goff to play like he did against. Imagine the Jared Goff that played against the Kansas City Chiefs in that epic 54-51 game that we won in Los Angeles in 2018. That Jared Goff playing against you guys with Mullins. That guy was nowhere to be found. But Robert Saleh, I blame him for at least 4 of those losses, Robert Saleh, because he was the reason why we lost, because we couldn't get our offensive rolling, and whatever offense that you guys were able to put together, it was enough to beat us. But yeah, so
yeah, pretty much, man. Like it kind of seems like Saleh just knows how to figure out a game plan. But D'Amico's he's our new coordinator, so I think he's getting the hang of it. But I think, like you just said, you're getting so tired of it. It's just like beating you guys is like pretty much owning you, just like how Seattle's been owning us over the years.
And it's a trip because when the Rams first got there and Shanahan first took over the Niners, they were retooling. The Rams were 3-1. Shanahan was 3-1 versus the Niners. The only reason why they lost the one game was because the Rams sat all their starters at Los Angeles Coliseum when we were getting ready for the playoffs, and Jimmy G won that game. Otherwise, it really could have been 4-0 against Shanahan, and it would have been the other way. And then now turn around to that was 2017 to 2018. The Shanahan was 3-1 versus McVay was 3-1 versus Shanahan, and now flip forward, and now you guys are 5-0 against us. It just the way it goes. I remember you guys beat us 17 times in a row. I don't know if
at one point it used to be like a team we would always have our way with. Like you were like our doormats for those 17 plus years.
At that time we had the Tony Banks at quarterback and the Steve Walshes, and we were horrible. We would finish 3-13. So if you guys didn't beat that team, there was something wrong with you. At that time you guys had like Jeff Garcia and
Dana Stubblefield would talk all that smack.
Dana Stubblefield. Yeah, the only good thing is when the Greatest Show on Turf Rams came, and Ken Norton Jr. was still playing with you guys. We were able to get you guys when Isaac Bruce had 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Those were the tough times, yeah.
But see, at least we were beating better teams. You guys were beating crappy Ram teams. We were 3-13. Then we got Jerome Bettis, and we were like 5-11. We were beating you guys with Jeff Garcia, and you guys still had Terrell Owens and guys like that. What was your running back?
Hurts.
Yeah, Garrison Hurst. You guys had decent teams, and we were beating you guys. So at least it was just like you guys are beating us now. So that's a little, to me, that's a little better that we beat better Niner teams than you guys beat those horrible Ram teams. But yeah, but now 5-0. If I had to say that we were due, we're very due to win this game. Finally, we have to win this game, man. If I had to pick it, and we were going to play you guys in the playoffs, I would be almost willing, and I say this begrudgingly, to lose again this game, but then beat you guys in the playoffs. I would take that.
Okay, hey, I guess this guy's giving you a good joke. He's calling you the blue meanie.
Well,
all right, let's get on to the predictions, man. I'll let you get on your prediction of this game.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give two predictions. Number one, the way I want it to go, and then number two, the more likely way it's probably gonna go. So number one, the way I want it to go is the Rams. Cam Akers has a coming out party. He breaks off a couple of big runs. He catches a couple of plays out of the backfield. He shows us the player that he would have been. Sony Michel has a monster game and on the running side. Stafford has 3 touchdowns, and Cooper Kupp cooks and gets a couple of touchdowns. OBJ gets a touchdowns, and we win 33-17. Because the kid has his struggles and throws a couple of picks, and we get short fields. So that's what I would love to see. What I foreseen seeing is, because you guys have such a great running game, and Shanahan knows for some reason he remembers to use it against us, and then against other teams he doesn't remember to use it all the time. But against us, he knows that's the formula to keep us on the sidelines while he does his offense. I see maybe us winning 24-13 or 27-17, with you guys making a little bit of a comeback at the end, maybe scoring a touchdown or a field goal, and the kid's struggling in this game, but he has a decent game, and Donald and Von Miller eat. Von Miller's the key too on the defensive line, because he's just starting to get his way now. He had a big sack against the Ravens, and he did his little squawk dance. That's something that we have to look forward to seeing. And also number 91, Greg Gaines, our defensive tackle. He's a big guy, but he's ran down some quarterbacks like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. And so he's kind of like a Bosa, but as on defensive tackle, he's got a high motor and he gets in there. So look at number 91, shades of Rams legend Kevin Green wearing number 91. Keep an eye on him in the middle.
Great. Yeah, rest in peace to him.
Yeah, God bless him. But yeah, so I see that happening. But the key is that we stop Debo from having 200 and some yards against us. He can have his game. You're not going to stop him, but we can't let him go off, especially on third down. The key to this game is if he holds you guys off on third down, we get the ball back. If we keep letting you guys have drives and drives and drives, it'll wear down our defense. And we have to. It'll be wonderful. It's a high scoring game too, though. But I think I see that we're due. I see that it's a young quarterback, so I think it's going to be, I would say 27-13 Rams.
All right, seems fair. But if I had to look at the other way around, man, I know your expectation is you want to get your payback, you want to get your dues. But unfortunately, the way we've been able to play you and the way we've been able to adjust, like the way you said, Shanahan just knows how to play his best game when it comes to the Rams. But I definitely got to pull my broom aside and just say, sorry, buddy. It's pretty much you're going to go on the 5th seed, and we're definitely going to take the number 6 seed. So I feel like this game's going to come down to a field goal. So I see you guys being more competitive, but I think you guys are going to play a lot better than expected. So I definitely got you guys. It's going to be 20-17, not a high score game. We're probably going to limit your offense a little bit. And the one guy that I expect to step up besides Bosa is Arden Key. Like Arden Key, to me, he would be like your Leonard Floyd. He would be like your Leonard Floyd because he was the same way when he went to the Bears, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen is Arden Key is going to be exactly what we expect him to be, and he's probably going to step up and get to Stafford. I'm predicting maybe about a couple sacks, and maybe he gets into a rhythm and gets the energy in a little bit, and then Ebby feeds into the vibe, and maybe he gets his little payback. But I feel like this game can be a low-scoring game. So the Niners should be able to have an opportunity to get in the playoffs. I know the Rams is going to be a lot harder. They're going to be a lot better this time, but it's not going to be like that 31-10 type of game. No way. I think it's going to be a lot closer. But at the end of the day, Shanahan just knows how to play Sean McVay. So it's kind of hard to I know it's going to be hard to sweep, but it's going to have to be a hard-earned victory against you guys, because you guys are going to play a lot better. 5-game winning streak is not. It's a good accomplishment for you guys, but unfortunately, we're just going to put it into an end, and you guys are going to have to play the 5th seed, I guess. We'll see, man. But hey, best of luck.
Thank you, man. It's amazing to me that because you guys have had the 5-game winning streak against us. It's amazing that you guys just when you just look at it, that a 3rd place Niner team is talking like this, like they're going to beat us again and sweeping us, when this is the 1st place Rams McVay team. It's amazing. It's just the way it's gone, because even though they beat us over and over again, Shanahan, make no mistake, is always looking up at McVay in the standings. So that's one thing that we do have over you guys. It's all in good fun, but yes, you guys have beat us 5 times in a row, but we look down on you guys from the standing standpoint, because we're normally ahead of you guys. And again, this year, we're in 1st place looking for a division crown, and you guys are trying to make the playoffs. So despite that, I got to give you a little pushback on that. You guys have beat us 5 times in a row, but make no mistake, there's one team that's in 1st place trying to get a division crown, and there's one team that's in 3rd place fighting for their playoff life. So I had to throw that in there, because you guys do got us 5 times, but we have to we can't mistake the pecking order right now when it comes to the division. We've earned that part, because at least we beat other teams as well as we're looking forward to the game. CG, I love that you had me on. We can talk like this forever, just about, and we haven't even got into our Lakers, man.
Not yet, man. But hey, I know we could talk on, dude. Like, it's already like past almost an hour and 20 minutes, dude. That's just how much we have in common. We're like the kind of people who can just chit chat and go with it all day. But I appreciate it.
Let me ask you real quick, CG. Are you going to come out to the game? Are you going to come out?
No, I wish I could, man. But I went to Levi's against the Falcons the last game.
Oh, well, let me know whenever you go, man. You can tailgate with the Ramilia, and it's all good. I got Rams season tickets holders, and all to you Niner fans, it's going to be packed in red. I know that the Niners travel very well. There's going to be a lot of Ram fans too, but this Rams stadium is amazing. You guys have, even if you're not a Ram fan and you want to come and see the Rams versus whoever, it's amazing stadium, man. You guys got to see it to believe it.
Maybe I'll get in contact with Thomas, who is an OG Rams season ticket holder, I believe.
Oh, yeah, man. This stadium, it's not just because it's the Rams stadium. It's amazing. It's amazing, CG. You take a picture, a selfie, and the field's behind you. It's like it's a damn digital picture. It looks fake. It's so beautiful, man, the stadium. So, man, you got to come check it out. And but yeah, man,
I definitely will at some point.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. And hopefully everybody checks out your channel, man. The Ramilia Sports Report, man. I know his subscriber ain't that big, but he's going to be up and coming, man. I feel like this guy does experience tailgates. You do all kinds of Rams content, and you're just getting started, dude. So it's like we kind of go way back. So, I'm hoping everybody can give you some recognition, man. At some point, I think you're going to be a solid Rams YouTuber when it's all said and done, man.
Sounds good, man. Thank you, CG, again. I appreciate it. And all of my Niner brothers in the chat, Tommy Huxley and Young Creeper 905 and everybody else, my brother CG and John J. Thank you guys. Well, hopefully there'll be no COVID crap. I don't want to hear no last minute stuff. And everybody have a good time at the game. We're not the Raiders. We don't fight. You fight people for the most part.
Man, we can agree on that part, yeah.
It's going to be good. Hopefully, it's going to be everyone plays good. I'm looking forward to seeing Trey Lance in person, so I'll be there with the Ramilia. And thank you again, CG. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, no problem, man. Anytime, man.
Thank you.
So, no problem, man. As always, man, the stream's about to be at its end. CG Ruthless Sports and the Ramilia Sports is out, so you already know. He's probably going to say go Rams, and I'm going to say go Niners. All right, man. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Ramulators, mount up.